Protests as gunmen kill 12 in Plateau village. Bandits kill 23 in fresh Kaduna village attack. Court dismisses money laundering charge against former Attorney General of the Federation, Mohammed Adoke. And on the foreign scene, Israel launches retaliatory strikes against Iran. Hello and welcome to Trust TV's news update. I am Chiamaka Mafo. Thanks for joining us. And we start on a very sad note that at least 15 persons were killed on Thursday in two communities of Bokos and Mango local government areas of Plateau State, including a 200-level computer science student of Bokos State University. Reports said the attack took place in the Telengpat and Butora communities of the local government area while the residents were sleeping, adding that the gunmen attacked the affected areas around 9 p.m. on Thursday and started shooting sporadically. Although security agencies are yet to respond to inquiries about the attack, spokesperson of Operation Safe Haven, Major Samson Zakum, stated that they will investigate the matter. In a statement signed by Yakubu Ayuba, the registrar of the institution, while confirming the killing of the students, described it as heartless and called on security to take drastic measures to prevent such incidents. Meanwhile, women have taken to the streets of Bokos chanting a slogan meaning "We don't want soldiers anymore," as they are killing our people. Women dressed in black as they headed to the local government secretariat before moving to town. Right now we have joining us the reporter in the state, Ado Musa, who is there to give us some more information on the incident. Ado Musa, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, good afternoon, Chiamaka.
Ado, that's another attack and it's seemingly a reoccurrence, but can you just tell us the latest on this one?
It is unfortunate that we also woke up again with another attack from Bokos local government area of the state. If you recall, even last week, there was similar attack where a good number of people were also killed. Even though the security personnel are yet to give the reasons for the attack, but sources from the area confirmed to us that it was a night attack where a lot of people were killed. But the security agencies have already taken the control of the two communities, that is the communities in Bokos and that of Mango local government area. Sources tell us that the attacks took place at the same time because they allege that there's a kind of coordinated attacks. But the security agencies are yet to say anything about it. We equally learned that the university authority, that is Bokos State University, have also issued a statement suspending all academic activities until further notice. The state governor has also issued a statement condemning the attack and also appealed to the citizens of the area to remain calm, as security agencies will do everything to restore law and order in the area.
Okay. Okay, so Ado, now you've already said that the authorities have not really said anything about this incident, but I want to ask you, this seems to be a recurrence in these particular two local governments, Bokos and Mango. Do you have an idea of what the issue is exactly as to why there's always something sad happening in these local government areas of Plateau State?
Well, it is a common knowledge to virtually many people not only in Plateau State, but in other places. That we have been experiencing a kind of killing and counter-killing among the people of these two local government areas. If you could recall, the whole thing started last year, even before the Christmas Eve attack. So they have been having problems between the farming communities and also the herders in these areas. And security agencies have been doing their best. They have done a lot of deployment, but you know, they always tell you that they can't be everywhere. And then people must agree to live together before there will be peace in these kind of areas. So while we only know that yes, there have been a kind of killing in these communities, wherever the farmers were killed, the next thing we hear is to accuse the Fulani of launching the attack. And the same thing, if a Fulani man is killed, tomorrow we will hear that the Fulani man is accusing also the members of the farming community of launching the attack. So this is something that we know that has been happening for quite a long time.
Okay, so now we can see the reaction. The women on the streets, they're protesting, and apparently from what they're chanting, they say they don't want security officers anymore, that they're killing their people. You know, is there, I don't know, well, is there any truth to that? Is there, what can you make of that whole scenario?
Well, the protest by the women is something that we cannot say is new, because whenever there is such a attack, women will always come out and say that, okay, we don't want soldiers. It's not as if maybe they don't want security personnel completely in those areas. What they are saying is they don't want soldiers in particular in that area. So if you could recall,
I'm sorry, I don't. Yeah. Sorry to cut you. Why predominantly soldiers? Are they not there to protect them from these situations reoccurring and happening again and again?
Well, the women will always allege that they are not confident in soldiers. This is what they usually say. So whenever there is something of this nature, because the soldiers are almost everywhere in these affected communities, they will say that, okay, what are the soldiers been doing that will allow this thing to happen? So it's a kind of allegation that has also been in place too, that they don't have confidence in soldiers. For that reason, the soldiers have to leave. So that is why anytime there is such attack, they will now call for the removal of the soldiers in this case.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Adomosa. It's been a pleasure having you on News Update at this time.
Thank you for having me.
Please do stay safe. Now moving on to other news. In Kaduna, at least 23 people have been reportedly killed by bandits who attacked the Angoa Danko community near Dogundawa district in the eastern part of Briningwari local government area of the state. Although the police authorities in Kaduna are yet to confirm the incident, but a community leader, Zubairu Abdurrahuf, said bandits in large numbers invaded the community on Wednesday night. During the invasion, Abdurrahuf said bandits started shooting sporadically to scare residents, and in the process, more than 20 persons were shot to death. He disclosed that while 5 people sustained varying degrees of injuries from gunshots, some of the residents are still missing after the attack. Sansani town headquarters of Sansani Chiefdom was thrown into confusion and mourning as unknown gunmen killed chief of Sansani Chiefdom in Gasso local government area of Taraba State, Alhaji Abdul Mutalib Jankada, inside his palace at about 9 p.m. Thursday. The gunmen, many in numbers, rode on motorcycles into Sansani town and kept their motorcycles distant from the palace and silently entered the palace and gunned down the monarch. Musa Sansani, a resident of the town, said they heard sound of gunshots but never knew where it was coming from. The late chief was abducted 2 years ago along Jalingo Wukari Road on his way to Sansani by kidnappers, and ransom was paid before his release. Killing of chief of Sansani Chiefdom brought the number of traditional rulers killed by gunmen in the state to about 7 in the last few years. Taraba State Commissioner of Police Command is yet to speak on the death of the monarch. Here in the FCT, the police command has arrested 2 suspects for attempt to bury a lady's corpse, Balkisu Muhammad, who died after she allegedly took unprescribed drugs. The Commissioner of Police in the FCT, CP Bennett Igwe, who was speaking while parading the suspects and some arrested robbery suspects in Abuja on Friday, said the 2 suspects were arrested following a tip-off by police operatives from Mabushi Division. He said the suspects, which he gave their names as Saidia Abubakar and Muhammad Jibrin, prescribed wrong dose of drugs to late Balkisu Muhammad after she fell sick. According to him, the deceased had earlier visited the residence of her supposed boyfriend, Abbas Ramalan, who eventually traveled to Kano and left the deceased in the care of the 2 suspects. The authority of the Nigerian army on Friday morning released the monarch, Prince Clement Ikolo, declared wanted a few weeks ago over the killing of 17 military personnel that were killed in Delta State. It specifically said, although it has not exonerated anybody regarding the incident, but decided to release the monarch after intervention of highly placed personalities in the society. The military high command had launched manhunt for the arrest of those who perpetrated the dastardly attack. The development that has made residents of Okwama to desert the community. Shortly after the manhunt, the military declared Arthur Ekpekpo, a professor, Dennis Brakriri, Daniel Omotebono, also known as Amagbem, and Akata Malawa David, wanted. Other people declared are Sinclair Oliki, Clement Ikolo Ogererukewe, Ruben Barrow, and Igoliebi, the only woman among the wanted suspects.
I'd like to, just by way of emphasis, to thank the Nigerian military for the professional way they've handled this matter. It's a difficult matter to have handled. The gruesome murder of 17 officers and men requires and continues to require the detailed investigation that is being carried out. But I would like to emphasize that the king has been treated in a professional manner. Access to medicine, Bible, and other comforts are made available.
Having said that, my name is Major General Director, Army Public Relations, and on behalf of the Chief of Army Staff, I would like to welcome you, distinguished senator, members of the Church, and of course, not forgetting your spouse to this very important event. I would like to welcome members of the press. They've been with us since the past 3 weeks, since we began the Chief of Army Staff first conference. Thank you for your residence.
Moving from security to court matters, Justice Ian Eko of the Federal High Court in Abuja has dismissed the money laundering allegations filed against a former Attorney General of the Federation, Muhammad Adoke, by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. Delivering a ruling on a no-case submission filed by the former AGF, Justice Eko held that the FCC failed to establish a prima facie case against Adoke. Eko further said the EFCC did not provide any evidence to prove the essential elements of the offense against the first defendant, Adoke. The FCC had charged Adoke and Abubakar Aliyu, a property developer, in 2017, alleging money laundering to the tune of 300 million naira. Still staying with court matters, the immediate past governor of Anambra State, Willie Obiano, on Thursday failed in his bid to quash the 4 billion naira theft charges filed against him by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. Justice Ian Eko of the Federal High Court in Abuja dismissed the preliminary objection filed by Obiano to challenge the powers of the EFCC to try him. The judge, however, granted Obiano's prayer for the release of his passport to enable him to embark on a medical trip. Justice Eko, while adjourning till June 27 for the commencement of trial, said Obiano must return his passport to the court on his return from the medical trip. Obiano, who was arraigned on January 24, faces 9 counts bordering on theft of Anambra State security votes to the tune of 4 billion naira. On political matters, the National Publicity Secretary of the All Progressives Congress, Felix Morka, on Thursday reiterated that the ruling party will not honor the initial court order affirming Abdullahi Ganduje's suspension as national chairman. He also reiterated that the national chairman of the party has not been served any summons concerning the initial court order restraining him. Morka said APC has thrown their weight behind the recent Kano Federal High Court ruling calling for a stay of the order. The political drama in Kano had taken a fresh twist on Wednesday after a Federal High Court presided over by another judge, Justice A.M. Liman, halted the purported suspension of Ganduje by his ward executives in Dawankin Tofa local government area of the state. The ruling was given after Ganduje filed an ex parte motion seeking to enforce his fundamental right to a fair hearing. This is the news update on Trust TV. Coming up ahead. Amidst escalating food crisis and general cost of living, Nigeria loses 30% produce post-harvest. More when we return. Please do stay with us. Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. And if you're just joining us, it's the news update on Trust TV. Now a recap of our top stories. Protest as gunmen killed 12 in Plateau village. And we also told you that bandits killed 23 in fresh Kaduna village attack. To more news. The Zamfara state government has banned all political office holders and heads of agencies from conducting any interview, issuing statements, or airing programs on radio, television, and social media without seeking permission from the authority. The government also warned media organizations based in the state to desist from conducting or airing any radio or television program without the approval of the Ministry of Information. In a statement, the Commissioner of Information, Manir Haidara, said the Information Ministry is highly committed to observing and monitoring all radio stations for compliance. Amidst escalating food crisis and general cost of living, Nigeria loses 30% of its farm produce post-harvest, a challenge that is worsening food insecurity across the country. Nigerian Stored Products Research Institute and its partners organized a post-harvest conference to find lasting solution to the challenge as the largest economy on the African continent faces growing food shortages. Ibrahim Ismail tells us more.
Nigeria loses a whopping sum of 3.5 trillion naira annually to post-harvest losses, according to a report by ActionAid in 2021. The Federal Ministry of Agriculture says the challenge is one of the factors contributing to the current food crisis in the country. Agriculturalists, researchers, and top government officials converge in Abuja to find a lasting solution to the ever-changing landscape of challenges facing the agriculture sector.
The problem is definitely big, because if you look at the percentage of loss, if you take, for example, a particular commodity and we are producing maybe 7 million metric tons, and they tell you 20% of that is lost to post-harvest, then you can calculate the loss, not just to the farmers, but also to the country. Now, that is one side of the story. The other side of the story is that because of that loss, demand will not change, but supply has changed, which means price will go up. So these are the issues, and of course, seeing how the food crisis in the few months that has passed was felt by Nigerians, we have always known that food security is the #1 agenda of the country, and the president is totally committed to it.
Through collaboration and partnership, the Nigerian Stored Products Research Institute expresses determination to address post-harvest loss as it holds the first ever post-harvest connect in the country with the theme Scaling Appropriate Post-Harvest Solutions for Sustainable Food and Nutrition Security.
Nigeria as a government, we are ready to partner with all international, regional, and national agencies and organizations that have solutions to reduce post-harvest losses, either at the technical level, at the financial level, or at the social level. That's just the main message. Let us connect and work together.
It starts from grains, which will have 20% loss, right up to the worst aspect where you have the fruits and the tuber crops where we have 50% loss. So the statistics is there. We all know the statistics. On the average, we make it 30% because when we put all the crops together, you are hitting at 30%. And 30% is by no means, a very, very serious loss to any nation. Okay. Remember that these farmers hold these crops in trust for the country.
The event featured paper presentation, exhibition and unveiling of an effective grain protectant patented by the Nigerian Stored Products Research Institute. Ibrahim Ismail, Trust TV News, Abuja.
In business, Nigeria's Sovereign Wealth Fund, managed by the Nigerian Sovereign Investment Authority, NSIA, has grown by 119% in 2023 to 2.258 trillion naira from 1.032 trillion naira in 2022. Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, NURPC, Aminu Umar Sadiq, who presented the NSIA 2023 earnings to journalists on Thursday in Abuja, explained that the fund received $45.59 million as fresh capital from the NUPRC in line with the provisions of the Petroleum Industry Act. The fund, which was set up in 2013 with a seed capital of $1 billion, is made up of the Stabilization Fund, Future Generation Fund, and the Nigeria Infrastructure Fund. Umar Sadiq explained that in addition to its funds, the NSIA manages other third-party funds, including the Presidential Infrastructure Development Fund, Debt Management Office, FGN Stabilization Fund, Nigerian Electricity Supply Industry, and Presidential Fertilizer Initiative with 34.1 billion naira net assets. On the fronts, in Israel has launched strikes against Iran early on Friday morning in what appeared to be limited retaliatory action for last week's drone and missile attack by Tehran. Iran's air defenses shot at incoming targets, and explosions were reported near the cities of Isfahan in central Iran and Tabriz in the northwest. Iranian state media played down the damage from the attacks, and Iran lifted flight restrictions imposed overnight. An Israeli official confirmed the strike on Iran as the country notified the U.S. of its intention to carry out strikes on Iran on Thursday evening, giving its closest ally a few hours official notice. Still on the fronts, and millions of Indians began voting Friday in a 6-week election as a referendum on Narendra Modi, the populist prime minister who has championed an assertive brand of Hindu nationalist politics and is seeking a rare third term as the country's leader. People began queuing up at polling stations hours before they were allowed in at 7 a.m. in the first 21 states to hold votes from the Himalayan mountains to the tropical Andaman Islands. Nearly 970 million voters, more than 10% of the world's population, will elect 543 members of the lower house of parliament for 5 years during the staggered elections that run until June 1. The votes will be counted on June 4. This election is seen as one of the most consequential in India's history and will test the limits of Modi's political dominance. And in sports, former Arsenal chairman Sir Chips Keswick has died at the age of 84. A lifelong supporter of the club, he joined the board in 2005 and accepted the role of chairman in 2013 when Peter Hillwood stepped down. Keswick, who made his name in the banking industry and was a director of the Bank of England, spent 7 years as Arsenal club chairman. Still in sports, organizers have revoked He Jae's first place in the Beijing half marathon last weekend after an investigation confirmed that 3 other runners had slowed down to let him win the race. All 4 runners were disqualified and had to return their medals and award money. The footage showed 3 African runners letting He China's top long-distance runner, move ahead of them shortly before they were about to reach the finish line. According to a statement from a committee set up to investigate the race, the three runners deliberately reduced their pace. The statement did not acknowledge whether the race was rigged, but it did issue an apology. And that's it, all news update at this hour. For more news, documentaries and programs, please do also follow us on all our social media platforms and on our YouTube live stream. I am Shamaka Mwafo. Thank you for joining us.